Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I have been reading some really interesting, disturbing, very problematic allegations against Diddy. Um, there are huge financial implications here. This man is worth $1 billion, according to Forbes. And I'm going to tell you, by the time all this is done, Diddy's net worth could easily be negative, and I'm going to break that down for you. So get comfortable, buckle up a seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. And before we get started, let's do a quick audio check. Give me a yes if you can hear me okay. Give me a quick yes to let me know that I'm coming through all right. Also, let me know what city you're from. I see Monica Willis and Willetta White. Good to see you. This is an interesting topic. Diddy is really just, woo, buddy. Diddy has officially become the new Bill Cosby. Diddy has officially become the new Bill Cosby because the allegations are pouring in like crazy. Macy's today just dropped him from their website. Also, the lawsuits, just tons and tons of lawsuits with a lot of receipts, that are coming through. Now, again, I'm not here to impose or to assume guilt or innocence. Again, I still also believe that when things happen, they should be reported right away. I think that the water is very muddy, but this is predictable. This is predictable because I understand hip hop culture very well. I know a lot of rappers. I have been commentating on that culture for a long time. And one of my really good friends who's deep in hip hop, we would always make a joke. We said, wait till the Me Too movement gets to hip hop. Wait till the Me Too movement gets around to all the stuff that's been going on behind the scenes with rappers and artists. These lawsuits are going to be pouring in like crazy, and it's going to be ridiculous. And so let me just kind of give you the latest update on Diddy in terms of what's going on. Then I'm going to talk about it from a couple of perspectives. One, I've been a black man my whole life, and I'm always going to be a black man. So I always see things through the lens of a black man. But then also, I'm going to talk about the economic implications. Diddy, my prediction is that Diddy will not be a billionaire or anything close to it after this is done. My prediction is that they're going to destroy not just all of his current wealth, but his ability really to make money. Because he's always been a personality-driven brand. He's always the party guy, and he's had a lot of staying power. I mean, he's extraordinarily good at maintaining an almost youthful presence, similar to like an Eddie Murphy and people like that just seem to never age. Well, it looks like now some of these chickens are coming home to roost, and his track record is starting to catch up with him in certain ways. But again, I'm not here to presume innocent or guilt. Okay, so I don't want to get into all that. Now, as we move on, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up, share. Make sure you subscribe. Also, don't forget this podcast is on Spotify and it's on Apple. We had over 1 million downloads last month, so thank you guys for supporting and being connected to it. Also, my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, is a bestseller on Amazon. We just put it on Audible. My books are on Audible now, so if you like Audible books, when you want to listen to audio books, you can go to Audible and just look up my name, or you can go to drboycebooks.com, and for 24 hours you can get all my books and all the flashcards for kids, everything 75% off for Black Friday. Just use the code Black Friday 2023, Black Friday 2023, all one word at checkout. Okay, so let's hop in and let's dig in. Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate you. I see your comments, sister. God bless you. All right, so here's what is happening. Two things that jumped out at me that just really had me thinking like, whoa. So here's the deal. So let me tell you about this Preston Clark. I see you in there. Thank you for your compliment. So basically, two things happened that in addition to what had already occurred, a lot of people knew about let me see, a month ago, everybody was talking about Tupac, right? And Diddy's name was kind of coming up a lot in the murder of Tupac. Then it moved into Cassie. I guess a girlfriend Diddy had 20 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, something like that. And Cassie sued, and the suit instantly went away. The suit was quickly settled and kind of squashed. Now you're starting to see a little bit of what almost looks like an avalanche. It almost looks like an avalanche from where I'm standing, where now you have a couple things, a couple of interesting developments. One, Macy's has dropped Sean John and Diddy pretty much from their brand. They said, look, we don't want no part of this. And this makes sense because honestly, corporations don't like messy. Corporations don't like chaos. They don't like allegations. They don't like ambiguity in terms of whether or not a brand is good or bad. So Macy's has disassociated with Diddy. I'm willing to bet you that other companies are doing the same thing. I'm willing to bet you that Revolt TV is having a hard time now. I don't even know the complexities of the relationships between Diddy and other entities. I know the guys at Earn Your Leisure, who I love. I love those guys. I respect them immensely. I know a few of those guys, Ash Cash and MG, the mortgage guy. I saw him not too long ago. I love the guys at Earn Your Leisure, but I'm imagining the guys that Earn Your Leisure are trying to figure out how to finesse and how to deal with the association with Diddy, which doesn't look well on anybody right now. And that's just what it is. Also, you've got this connection with even the Breakfast Club. I don't know exactly how Diddy and Revolt are connected to the Breakfast Club, but it seems like there's a connection there. So a lot of business interests are really being affected by these alleged personal choices that Diddy made. And this is something where I talked about this actually this morning on my podcast. I was talking to you guys about how you cannot disconnect your personal decisions from what happens to you economically and what happens to you in terms of business. Some sort of restraint, some sort of strategy must be implied. You can never think that you're too big for anything to ever come back and get you. Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying that Diddy that Diddy did or didn't do these things. This is not my job. That's not what I'm trying to do here. What I am saying, though, is that it looks like some chickens are coming home to roost. Some allegations are being made. So the drop by Macy's was one thing, but then also there's this crazy article written in the Daily Beast. Now, when the white liberals start writing nasty hit pieces like this about you, that means you're in trouble. Because white liberals don't really like black males in general. They definitely don't like straight black males. Now, is Diddy a straight black male? I have no idea. He appears to possibly be sexually ambiguous. Again, I'm not even going to get into all that. But still, I think that there is a conflict. It's really interesting, right? And this is something cultural that I want to talk about. There's a conflict between hip hop culture and white liberal culture, right? There's a part of hip hop culture that white liberals love. They kind of love watching the black man make a fool out of himself. They like watching the black man throw the party and dance and rap and kind of do the stereotypical thugged out thing. What they don't enjoy is when black men engage in any sort of alleged behavior that is inconsistent with white liberal values. For example, with Diddy, they're probably looking at him. I think that they're insinuating in this article in the Daily Beast. The title of this article is "Diddy and R&B star Aaron Hall took turns raping a woman." Right? That's the title. So they're looking at him like he's a rapist, right? And this is violence against women. That's a big problem. It's a problem for everybody. I mean, I would never support any form of violence or whatever against women. The conflict, though, is that there are many thousands of black men who've been falsely accused, and this is what creates a complexity in our relationship with white liberals. White liberals, we agree that that violence against women is terrible, but they also have a lack of sensitivity to what happens to a black man when he gets falsely accused, and then what happens is all your white liberal friends abandon you. Give me a yes if you're following this. I know I'm talking a lot. I talk fast. I try to slow down, but I got a lot to say. And a lot of times your so-called allies will abandon you instantly once you get a certain label on you as a black man, even if it's not a proven label, even if it's not true. Like, for example, I remember writing an article years ago where I was warning men about sleeping around with just any old woman. I warned men about chasing a big butt and a smile. I said, because if you get falsely accused, you're going to be destroyed. I said, there are people out there that will destroy you. There are women out there that will lie. There are women out there who will get drunk and say that you poured the liquor down their throat and force them to do everything that they chose to do voluntarily, because unfortunately we have a contradiction. We have on one hand, the Me Too movement says, I am woman, hear me roar. Women are equal to men. Women are strong. Women can make their own decision. My body, my choice. But then there are other, at the same time, they come off with this argument that women are basically children, that a woman who drinks a lot can't make her own decisions, that basically when that she can literally say a man tricked me or coerced me into sleeping with him when the man didn't touch her, the man didn't force her, the man didn't do anything. She agreed to do it. These are real realities. This is what really happens. This is this politically incorrect conversation that isn't allowed in a world that is politically charged and politically divisive, right? The reality is that women are strong, women are smart, women can make their own decisions. And also, you can't tell me that a drunk woman is not responsible for her choices, but a drunk man is. Y'all understand what I'm saying? If a man gets drunk and a man says, well, you know, hey, I beat somebody up and I raped somebody or I stabbed somebody, but I wasn't able to consent to stabbing anybody because I was drunk. I mean, I was out of my mind. Like, how was I supposed to know? I did the drug deal, but I was high at the time, so I can't consent to do a drug deal because I was drunk. I was high. Men can't say that. Men can't say that. So I honestly, again, because I believe in fairness to women, because I believe in equality, or to some extent, I believe men and women are different, but I believe in equity. How about the equity? I believe that a woman can make her own choice, just like she can make a choice to abort your baby without your permission, right? They say that women should have that choice, but for some reason they think women are not capable of making a choice when it comes to her body as it pertains to sexuality, particularly if things did not go right. That's wrong. That's unfair. That's stupid to me, to be honest with you. Now, let's get back to Diddy. I'm not here to say Diddy didn't do this stuff, because let's just keep it 100. Diddy has a reputation. Give me a yes if you're aware of the reputation Diddy has. Give me a yes if you are aware that Diddy, unfortunately, has a 25, 30-year track record of being accused of just dastardly, crazy things, right? Give me a yes if you understand this. The thing about the Cassie situation, and some of y'all educated me on this, and I appreciate you sending me links and all that. There was a lot of stuff in there with the Cassie thing that was like, oh man, y'all are some crazy people. This lifestyle, I don't understand this lifestyle. I don't understand the lifestyle full of the drugs and the liquor and just endless amounts of gluttonous, irresponsible sexual behavior. I don't understand that world. White people, liberal white people introduce you to that world. That's what happened. Hollywood introduced you to that weirdo shit. Black people, regular black people don't do that. Let's just be honest. Regular black people don't have, sex where there's like 80 people in the room and everybody's using Molly and Percocet and people are just seriously, I'm not saying y'all ain't freaky. I'm not saying you haven't done your thing. Everybody, sex is natural. It's okay to like it. Everybody does. But I'm saying that, tell me, give me a guess if you understand what I'm saying. A lot of people can't relate to y'all's little weirdo Hollywood lifestyle. Black folks, regular black people can't relate to that. And then what they do though is they appeal to regular black folks and they're like this is what happened to me and this could happen to any woman. And a lot of women are like, I don't identify with that because I would not be in Vegas chasing down rap stars so I can just sleep with any rapper that will have sex with me, right? Like they don't understand that, right? So the truth of the matter, just like I can't relate to Diddy and the foursomes and the men sleeping with the women and the women sleeping with the men and the men sleeping with each other. And I don't get all that. That's crazy to me. And here's the thing. Here's where that's going. Here's the point. Some of y'all motherfuckers done made a deal with the devil. Seriously, some of these people have made a deal with the devil straight up. I'm not saying this from a religious standpoint. I'm saying it from a practical standpoint. You made a deal with the devil. And what I mean by that is, because you fell into this myth. And remember, I'm a finance guy, so I know what money does. Money is a drug. Money it affects the brain in crazy ways. So you made a deal with the devil. You thought that because your black ass made a couple $100 million, and because you get to stand in an arena full of white people who are cheering for you, and because you're known around the world, that means anything goes. That means that there are no limits. That means you can have whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. That's what you believe. And I know it because you rap about it. You rap about all the chaos and the craziness because you think there's no accountability for getting into that weirdo shit. You seriously look at ASAP Rocky right now. Everybody's like, oh, Rihanna's a billionaire. And I'm happy for Rihanna. Don't get me wrong. But right now, her baby daddy is this close to going to prison. Have y'all been following this? This guy is on like some kind of trial right now. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking, but I'm sitting there thinking, your baby mama's a billionaire, and you just had a child, and you're about to go to jail, dog. You're about to go to jail. And if I look at your track record, I see where you were rapping about this extreme, excessive lifestyle, where you threw discipline out the window and replaced discipline with tremendous amounts of irresponsible excess. Because that's what happens. That's what happens when you don't know who the hell you are. When your feet are not firmly planted in the ground, you get to the point where you think you are untouchable. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Bill Cosby. Again, y'all don't understand. I confuse a lot of you because you think that I defend Cosby and you think I don't, and some of y'all think I don't like him. No, I do both. I do both. On one hand, I think that there was no evidence against Cosby. There was no reason to send that man to jail. He's an old man anyway. He ain't gonna hurt nobody. Let that man die in peace. Let him sit with his wife where he should have been all along, and let him just die in peace. Stop trying to send an old man to jail with no evidence. Y'all some bastards for that. But at the same time, I remember Bill Cosby 30 years, 40 years ago, hanging out in the Playboy Mansion, doing God knows what, because somebody got him to let his guard down and to believe that anything goes. In a way, if you want to understand it, it's similar. How many of y'all, let me relate it to something that most of us understand. Does anybody have any relatives who warned you that if you get your job, don't go get drunk at the office party like the white people do? Did anybody else grow up in that house where you were told, like, if they have the Christmas party and all the white folks are getting drunk, you don't do that? You don't get out there acting a fool, swinging from the chandelier. Did anybody else grow up like that? I did. When I got my job at Syracuse University, I was a 30-year-old black man making $115,000 a year. My life has suddenly changed. I had more money than I'd ever had in my life. I had a lot of power. I was the only black person in the entire earth, actually, black, male or female, to get a PhD in finance that year. There's no other African American anywhere that got that. So I was hot shit. And one thing my father told me when I went to that campus, he said, "Don't you fuck nothing on that campus." He said, "You better not sleep with no students." He said, "You better not sleep with no other professors. You better not sleep with the secretary. If you want to go get some ass, you take your ass off campus. There's plenty of women you can meet off campus. But you do anything in that space, you don't shit where you eat. Because if you do, it's going to come back to haunt you." He said that to me. And I thank God for that, because there was another professor. His name was Adam Banks. He was the same age as me. He slept with a student. They had his picture slapped up on TV like he was OJ Simpson. Literally almost like a mugshot. And I don't even know if he did anything wrong. But I know that she accused him of sexual misconduct 7 months after the relationship ended. And I didn't even know what sexual misconduct was. I was like, is that rape? Like, what is sexual? And then they dropped everything, but it doesn't matter. Once they drop the charges, it don't matter. They're not going to go back and fix it. You're tainted. You're accused now. Now everybody thinks they can't take your mugshot was already on TV. So the point of the matter is, I do believe, and maybe it's crazy, but I believe y'all get to the point. Some of these celebrities, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think they get to the point where they really trust these folks too much. They do. They really think, well, because I'm famous and because I'm rich and because I made a hit rap song, that somehow I'm some indispensable Negro who is godlike and in character, and I can walk around and do whatever I want, and then do it with white girls too. Okay. You keep doing that, little Emmett Till looking mother. Seriously, like you keep going. Chickens come home to roost. And I think with Diddy, again, I'm not sitting here accusing Diddy of anything. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say he did these things. I'm serious. I believe in evidence and proof. And maybe there are some receipts, right? There's some disturbing receipts for sure. But that's not, to me, that's not all the entire issue. A lot of the issue is that I see a hip-hop culture that encouraged black men to engage in a highly undisciplined lifestyle that is coming back to bite you in your ass. And it's gonna bite hard. It's gonna bite people like even Jay-Z. You think there's a reason? You don't think there's a reason Jay-Z is super quiet about all of this? You don't think there's a reason he hasn't issued a statement? You don't think there's a reason he hasn't come out in the defense of anybody? It's a lot of dots connecting here. R. Kelly had a lot of friends that would hang out at his house while he was doing debauchery. Y'all do understand that. Michael Jordan would hang out with R. Kelly and they would, play basketball together. I'm not saying that he did these things. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm being very careful. I know people that know Michael, so I'm not accusing anybody of anything. All I'm saying is there's about $10 billion worth of skeletons in the closet. And I use a dollar amount because when they come for that money, that's how they get you. They don't try to send people to prison anymore. They're not going to try to send you to jail for something you did. They don't want the justice. They want the money. The lawyers are licking their chops. The Gloria Allreds, they got all the legal documents like all ready to go. And they're Google searching your net worth and using artificial intelligence to go back and retrace the last 30 years of your lifestyle. They're going to go look at every Vlad TV interview you ever did, Aaron Hall, and they're going to say, oh, the Daily Beast, Diddy and R&B star Aaron Hall took turns raping women according to new lawsuit. Well, guess what? Now you're no longer a fit for corporate America anymore. All your little business deals are dead. Ain't no corporation going to align themselves with somebody where it's even an implication that they might be a rapist. Macy's ain't going to participate with that, Diddy. That's why Diddy's no longer with Macy's. But then there's a whole lot of other stuff out there. Some stuff was videotaped, some stuff was recorded, some of these guys literally were out snitching on themselves. I mean, I'm not even saying you should have did what you did. I told you that's a problem, right? That excessive lifestyle. But then you because you're chasing clout and because you think that there are no rules and because you think you can get away with it, you make songs about it. You get on Vlad TV and talk about it. I ain't never seen it. I don't even understand that. Seriously, again, common sense. I'm cursed with common sense on this. I don't understand why you would do certain things in the first place. But if you do it, keep the shit to yourself. At least that's one area I give Jay-Z credit for. Jay-Z ain't go out here trying to do interviews and talk about stuff that he did back 20, 30 years ago. Because there's a lot of accusations against that guy. And I bet you he's paying attention. I bet he's very, very concerned. And the thing is, it's not just guys like the rappers. I mean, Bill Clinton, you look at the skeletons in Bill Clinton's closet. It goes really deep. And what's really happening here is you're having a scenario where the legal system is now backing women, and it's mostly women suing men. It's not men suing women. Sometimes you're going to have some cases with men suing men. Those are going to happen. There won't be many cases of men able to sue women, but there will be thousands of cases of women suing men. And what's ironic and complicated about these cases is that many of them live under the assumption that we are these conniving, intelligent creatures who are sophisticated and capable of doing mind control to manipulate women to do things that they actually chose to do themselves. If you chose to lay down with a man and get high and engage in sexual debauchery, and there's no proof that it was against your consent, then this idea that somehow you were tricked into it, that really makes you into a childlike creature. That makes you a person that is devoid of the ability to be responsible for your choices, which to some extent makes you as bad as the rappers are. Right. So anyway, let me move on. I'm going to move on. If you could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This podcast is on Spotify. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And also I did write a book called Financial Lovemaking, where I talk about the merge between love and money, relationships and money. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, feel free. You can go to my website at drboycebooks.com. For Black Friday, everything is 75% off. So just for one day. So use the code Black Friday 2023, all one word. If you use the code Black Friday 2023 at drboycebooks.com, then you can get everything 75% off. Also, if you want free stuff in the Black Business School, we've helped hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people actually. If you'd like to get some stock picks or things that you can invest in, we send out lots of free stuff. So just text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996. I have a training that's very popular called How to Make Money Without Working. My PhD's in finance, and so feel free to text stock to 31996. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. So let me read a little bit about this Diddy lawsuit. It's very disturbing. It's in the Daily Beast, and they said a third woman has filed a rape lawsuit against the hip hop mogul 1 week after he he settled with ex-girlfriend Cassie. Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with a third lawsuit accusing him of sexual assault, this time from a Jane Doe who says the hip-hop mogul and R&B star Aaron Hall took turns raping her and a friend more than 30 years ago. In the New York Supreme Court filing first obtained by Rolling Stone, the anonymous woman claims she and her friend first met Diddy and Hall at an MCA Records event in New York City. The accuser also names MCA and Geffen Records as additional defendants, having enabled the lawsuits. According to the lawsuit, quote, Combs and Hall were very flirtatious and handsy with Jane Doe and her friend, offering them drinks throughout the night, end quote, before the foursome retreated to Hall's apartment, where Jane Doe was offered more drinks and was coerced into having sex with Combs. After the alleged assault, the lawsuit continues. Jane Doe laid in bed, shocked and traumatized. As she was in the process of getting dressed, Hall barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced Jane Doe to have sex with him. Hall is a member of the R&B group Guy, which was credited as pioneering the New Jack Swing sound in the late 80s and early 90s. Doe claims she fled the apartment and was later informed by her friend that she too was also allegedly coerced into sex with both men in a separate room. Days later, Doe further alleges an irate Combs came to her home and physically assaulted her, quote, choking Jane Doe to the point that she passed out. The lawsuit claims Diddy was searching for Jane Doe's friend because he was worried that she would tell the girl he was with at the time that what he and Hall had done to them. Reps for Combs and Hall did not immediately respond to the Daily Beast's request for comment. Combs was named in two other bombshell lawsuits filed just before the end of the Adult Survivors Act, a New York state law which authorized a one-year period wherein alleged victims of sexual offenses that exceeded the statute of limitations could file civil lawsuits. The first of those lawsuits against Combs came from his ex-girlfriend, one-time R&B star Cassie Ventura, who alleged the rapper and producer of rape. Producer of rape, physical assault. She alleged that the rapper and producer, she alleged him that he participated in rape, physical assault, and a car bombing. Combs' lawyer, Benjamin Brofman, labeled the offensive and outrageous claims to be blackmail. Diddy and Cassie settled the suit out of court. But then a week later, a second woman, Joey Dickerson Neal, filed a lawsuit against Combs, accusing him of drugging and raping her when she was a college student in 1991, distributing revenge porn of their encounter. Quote, this last-minute lawsuit is an example of how well-intentioned law can be turned on its head, a spokesperson for Combs told the Daily Beast. Okay, so this is a lot. This is really a lot. And I'm going to stick with this one basic point. I believe in things like evidence, right? I believe evidence is important. Now, videotape could be evidence. At least it's evidence that y'all got together. Is it evidence that things happened against your consent? I think that's another issue. I think that's another topic. And I think that's what makes it hard, right? That's what makes it difficult, because you can imagine, say, somebody who is addicted to drugs or looking for money saying, hey, let me just file this lawsuit. Let me just take history, rewrite history of things that allegedly happened, things I did not report to the police, things that I don't have much evidence of. And let's just make the accusation and make it public, and they'll know that their reputation will be ruined. So, they'll pay me to make this go away, right? Will Smith actually said he keeps 8 lawyers on retainer just to deal with all the lawsuits that get filed against him that are frivolous, etc. Right? However, there's the other side of this, right? The other side of this says that that these things do happen, that these excesses do take place, that there are people who think that they are above the law. There are many people who have claimed that that they felt and that Diddy felt for many years that the police would never investigate him for anything because he was connected to important people in the city like the mayor and Donald Trump and many others. There's also so let's move away from this a little bit in terms of the he says she says side of it, right? Everybody's got opinions. Those opinions should be respected. I think all the nuances should be considered. I think there needs to be a standard here. If there's no standard, then you're opening the floodgates. Anybody can sue anybody and get paid just because they made a choice that they regret and they want to try to find a way to profit from it 25, 30 years later, right? But there's a more practical aspect of this about the protection of wealth and what in the precarious situation that Diddy finds himself in. Diddy is basically in a situation that reminds me of something that I heard from one of my students when I taught a finance class in China. One of my Chinese students, I was talking to them about Chinese culture. Now, Chinese culture is very different from hip hop culture. In fact, most Chinese people, in my view, they think rappers are kind of goofy. They really do. They think rappers are goofy. And the reason they think they're goofy is because in Chinese culture, you get laughed at if you are loud and cocky. If you're standing out like, look at me, look at me. If you're clout chasing, attention seeking, and trying to stand out from the group, that is not seen as a positive favorable attribute, right? So like last year, when I was on the phone with Kanye West for many hours, first thing Kanye tells me is that he's going to be president in 2024, that he is the most important person on the earth next to Vladimir Putin. And I'm sitting here thinking, why the fuck are you telling me these things? I don't give a shit. You're another black man on the phone with me right now. I'm not bragging and saying and talking about my PhD and how much education I have. If you ask me, I'll talk to you about it to qualify myself, but I'm not here to talk about how I'm better than you. Like, that's very weird to me. Just shut up. This is stupid to me. And so that culture, that doesn't fit. Like, if you go to China, they do the opposite. They try to blend in with the group. And I said, where did that come from? And she said that when we were little, we were told that the fattest pig always gets slaughtered. Now, what does that mean? And how does this relate to Diddy? Well, right now, Diddy is the fattest pig. And everybody's showing up like Thanksgiving dinner with their little knives and forks out. You don't think, give me a yes or no if you understand this. You don't think that every lawyer in New York that's trying to get paid, that's trying to get on the map, that's trying to get something for their clients, you don't think every single lawyer in New York is not salivating at the idea of filing a $100 million lawsuit against Diddy for some shit that he put on videotape? Let me know if y'all understand where I'm coming from. Again, I'm not sitting here talking about guilt or innocence. Let's not get into that. Because I told you, I don't know Diddy. I don't know him like that. He called, y'all know how I love Dr. Claude Anderson. Diddy called Dr. Claude Anderson. Me and Dr. Anderson were talking about Diddy the other day. He said Diddy didn't do anything. I told you, that's what rappers do. They talk, but they don't do anything. Ice Cube did something. I put Dr. Anderson on the phone with Ice Cube. Ice Cube and I got together and made a financially supported what Dr. Anderson was doing. And I said, I know you're a famous celebrity. I don't want your money. I'll put up half, you put up half. I'll match you dollar for dollar for everything you can help me do for Dr. Anderson's Institute, because this is helping black folks. Cube came through, Diddy did not. No disrespect, but that's just what it was. So I don't dislike Diddy. I really don't. But I'm telling you that what it is. And this comes with the territory. This comes with fame. This comes with money. So what's interesting, here's the thing. White folks will trick your black ass, your black rapping ass, into thinking that your fame and fortune makes you invincible. I believe it's the opposite. I believe that your fame and fortune makes you more vulnerable than ever. I think that your fame and fortune makes you the fattest pig that's about to get slaughtered when they get a hold of your ass. That's what I believe. I believe that every lawyer in New York who knows any of the many hundreds of women that Diddy has interacted with is trying to figure out, like, hey, well, did he do anything inappropriate? Is there anything? Right now, they're giving away free money right now because the courts have no standard right now. Right now, the floodgates are open. It's just like during the pandemic when they were giving everybody PPP money and there was free money, right? There's free money being given out for any woman who slept with a rapper over the last 20 or 30 years. And if that rapper still has any of his money, if he ain't tricked all his money away, because that's what some of them do, because it's, again, bad culture. But for the ones that didn't trick their money away, let's go file this lawsuit. Let's go get paid. Because I'm going to tell you, now that I think about it, you don't think Jay-Z going to get a lawsuit at some point? I'm not putting it on him. I'm not wishing this. I'm just asking you. You don't think Jay's gonna get any? I mean, he's been on the scene in New York for 30 years. You don't think there's some woman that he did wrong, somebody mad at him, some situation that was ambiguous, some that involved drinking and drugs, where she could say, "Well, I didn't. He coerced me into getting drunk so that he could sleep with me, which technically makes it a non-consensual sex." And because the world isn't going to take the time to figure out who did what, I'm going to get a check just to make it go away, which would be great because since that time I'm not doing so well financially, and I know you're doing well because you're the fattest pig. You got all this money and you're on TV, so you're very wealthy and you're fine, right? I mean, really, this is so. Don't think that Diddy's the last one. That's the interesting thing. The Me Too movement has arrived to the world of hip hop, and they're going to come in there and they're going to drain the swamp. And what they're going to do is they're going to go back and with a fine tooth comb and look at every single. It's funny that Diddy's last name is Combs, right? They're going to do a fine tooth comb, and they're going to go through and they're going to dissect carefully the last 30, 35 years of every rapper's life. And what is really challenging is that there are many um, artists who have done things that are kind of hard to explain to the general public. They're going to be hard to explain, and so remember that this is not. You could talk about this in a way where you're not victim blaming. You could talk about this in a way where you're not assuming that celebrities are all guilty or innocent, right? You don't, because again, it's a wild world, it's a wild culture. I don't think anybody knows what it's like, for guys. Like, remember when who was that had that song? I got hoes in different area codes, in area codes. Remember Dame Dash? Dame is a friend of mine. Remember Dame and Jay-Z had that song? What was it? Big pimpin', spinning cheese. We be big pimpin'. And then they were rapping about, or maybe Dame Dash and maybe Jay-Z had that song, Hoes in Different Area Codes. Or was that a Jay-Z song? I can't remember. But my point is to say that this is that rock star lifestyle. This is the lifestyle that they were given, and some of these guys, I think, got carried away with this because they didn't know. Was it Ludacris or Nate Dogg? I don't remember. I don't. But songs like that. Y'all got to forgive me. I get them mixed up. I get them. They all mashed together because they all sound alike. But generally speaking, that's what's interesting right now. Is that you have a world where I think that there are people who kind of forgot that they were black. I really do. I think that there were guys who really went into that whole, like OJ Simpson did that. Remember when OJ was like, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." I think that artists kind of got to the point where they thought they could do things and get away with stuff forever. And what happens is that when it comes to going after black people, they've changed the rules. Like with Bill Cosby, OJ, first of all, OJ Simpson probably killed his wife. I believe that he did, but they didn't have the evidence. And what you don't understand, though, is that you're dealing with a man who can change the rules whenever he wants to. So they said, well, we ain't got evidence, but we know this Negro did it. So we're going to treat him as if he actually did it. I don't think OJ is a great guy. I think OJ probably did it, but you can't prove it. But you think the system is fair to you. You think the rules apply to you in the same way they apply to everybody else. They don't. They don't. You're not white. You're not white. Same thing is true, I think, when you talk about Bill Cosby. Look, did Bill Cosby do some of the things he's accused of? I think he probably did, to be honest with you. I think Bill Cosby made a lot of choices, but they changed the rules for Bill Cosby. They were like, well, normally we wouldn't go after a criminal 30, 40, 50 years later, but we're going to do it now because he's a rich Negro and we don't like that very much. On a subconscious level, we actually hate you and don't think you deserve the wealth that you have. So we're going to go ahead and use this as a moral justification to do to you what we've done to damn near every black family since slavery, which is to go after you using the law in our favor to come and take everything that you have. Black Wall Street, where laws were manipulated because a black man was accused of touching a white woman, and they used their own laws and they deputized white men to go over and fix the problem. Right. And fixing the problem meant burning down every black person's house, killing hundreds of people, running them out of town, and taking their stuff. Right. That's kind of what happens in this country. It still happens to this day. The difference with black celebrities and rappers is they think that those rules don't apply to them until they get their Paul Mooney nigga wake-up call. When the Paul Mooney wake-up call arrives, then suddenly you're like, oh my God, I'm black. I need the black community to help me. By that time, it's too late. By that time, you're done. By that time, you done got 80 years in prison or whatever it is. So I think that they're not just going to go after the money. I think eventually they're going to start trying to put people in jail. I've seen, and some of these are people that I know who, I never had bad interactions with him. I told you I worked with Russell Simmons on some stuff back in 2013. He was a very stand-up guy. And I didn't know anything about the hip-hop lifestyle. I wasn't involved in any of that. I wasn't around in that world, but but I knew Russell knew celebrities, and we made a partnership to force Obama and Eric Holder to change their incarceration policies, and it actually worked. That letter's out there somewhere. I wrote the letter. Russell got the celebrities to sign it, and it worked like a charm. And a lot of celebrities signed that letter, and we got a lot of people out of jail with that. And I'm really proud of that work. And he was honorable in every single step of the way. But then when I see Russell on an interview, and Russell says, "Man, back then we would get off a plane in Amsterdam, and we would just say we were looking for two things: the pussy and the cocaine." And I was like, I mean, pussy. Come on, ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't got to say nothing else. But the cocaine. So you're comfortable enough to go and get high and drunk around these people where they can document what your behavior is, so they can use that against you later on. I was raised in a world where you're told to be careful about what you do. I had the parents that said, "Don't get drunk at the office party with the white folks." I had the father who said, "Don't go." When I became a professor at Syracuse, he said, "Don't go fuck nothing on that campus." That's the world I came from. But you live in a different world, man. That's too wild for me. Because the other thing too is that, remember, black men are already vulnerable. They're already trying to kill you in every way imaginable. They want you dead or in jail or marginalized. That's the goal, right? So the idea that somehow you've let hip hop culture, some parts of it, not all of it, some of it, convince you that it makes sense for you to be high and drunk all the time, and which would make you vulnerable because you're not even in your right mind. You're not alert. You're not able to be strategic. You're not able to make good choices. Well, that you're pretty much kind of signing yourself up for slaughter. You literally are like laying your head on the guillotine and saying, "Okay, chop my head off." And I just never understood that, right? But again, it happens when you get into that space, because I think that there are literally rappers who believe racism doesn't exist. I think Lil Wayne was talking about that. He was talking about how nice white people are to him. And I said, of course they're nice to you, because you're Lil Wayne and you fulfill all the stereotypes of black men that they believe, and they like that. And you sound good when you do it. So of course they love you. Of course they treat you different. I'm the dangerous one. I'm the one who gets who gets banned from Instagram. I lost my 500,000 followers because I'm talking about this stuff that I talk about now. I talk about racism. If I was talking about toting a gun and shooting other black people, I'm sure they probably put me in the algorithm. I don't know. But anyway, either way, though, they just live in a different world from the rest of the black community. Okay. And I really think that what is going to occur is that you're going to see more of these suits filed. I think other states are going to do the same thing. I think a lot of artists that have been around for at least 20 years or more are probably shaking in their boots, because there are probably things that occurred, particularly while they were under the influence of drugs or alcohol, that are gonna come back to haunt them. And the difference between being a man in this country and being a woman in this country is that for some reason somebody decided that women are not responsible for sexual choices they make while they are drunk or while they are high, but men are completely responsible for every choice that they made while they were drunk or while they were high. And this, if you want to know, ladies and gentlemen, why I have an anti-drug, anti-alcohol policy, that's exactly why. Because I don't know what kind of man, I don't know what kind of beast. I'm already crazy enough when I'm not drinking or not using drugs. I have no idea what kind of man I would be if I was walking around my household drunk and high. I don't know what embarrassing thing I would do. So when these artists are being paid by these white and Jewish record label owners to go out and promote drugs and alcohol, particularly to young black men who have not learned discernment, who have not learned intelligent decision making, who have not learned any form of discipline on a significant level, that is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for death. That is a recipe for incarceration. That is a recipe for misery. And if I got to be the only black man on the internet who's saying these things, then so be it. I'll take the darts. Throw them at me. I'm ready. I can take all of that. I ain't scared. So I'll say this. Look, before I move on, could you do me a favor, please, and hit the thumbs up button? I gotta stop and ask you all to do this because it helps. Because all my channels, because I talk about white people and stuff, they get shadow banned and everything. So I need y'all's help. So if you could like hit the like button or something and subscribe and hit the notification bell, that would really help a lot. Also, we're moving away. As I told you, it was real. I really did lose 500,000 followers on Instagram. I have a new Instagram. It's Dr. Boyce Finance, and don't worry, we got millions of followers on other platforms, so I'm going to be fine. But if you want to connect with us offline, off of Facebook, off of Instagram, we created our own Black-owned social media platform called B1 Nation. B, the number one, B1Nation.us, not .com, B1Nation.us. If you come in, there are 3 quick questions you have to answer so we can make sure that you're one of us. And if you answer those questions, we will let you in. You can network with other intelligent Black people from all around the world. So feel free. That's a little space we created for you guys. Also, my book is The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power and also Financial Lovemaking. Either one of those books, you can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. For Black Friday, you can get everything 75% off. Just go use the code Black Friday 2023, all one word, Black Friday 2023. We also have financial flashcards for children that we developed in the Black Business School, financial workbooks for your kids, because we have some simple core beliefs here. We want Black people to be healthy. We want Black people to be wealthy. We want Black people to have good relationships. That's what we want. We want you to be mentally and physically healthy. We don't want you doped out. We don't want you depressed. We don't want you angry at each other. We don't want you hating each other. We want you to be physically healthy. We don't want you dying from cancer, diabetes, strokes, and everything else. I mean, all these things are preventable. We want you to be wealthy. We want you to have cash flow and financial security. We don't want you to endure financial trauma, right? That's passed from generation to generation. We also want you to have good relationships. We want Black men to love Black women. And if you don't love the woman next to you, then find one that you can love. We want Black women to love Black men. We want all of us to show up for you. I hope that makes sense. It's real simple. It ain't calculus. It ain't rocket science. So this is what we stand for. This is what we believe. So if you're in this category, I hope you'll be loud and vocal about this, because we got to fight against the culture. We really do. I think as a community, we got to stand up and say enough is enough. This is some bullshit. We're not going to let you come in here and tell us that we're something other than what we're supposed to be. And I think, honestly, unfortunately, hip hop culture, some of it, not all of it, some of it has betrayed us. It's betrayed us. Hip hop started off as a voice of the streets. Hip hop was a voice of the people. Hip hop was a voice of the oppressed. Hip hop was the Black CNN, where we can find out what's going on in our communities, where we can get politically mobilized, where we can pick up the right ideas from each other. But unfortunately, somebody came along, wrote a check. Again, this is where my financial background comes into play. I know exactly how it happened. Somebody came along, wrote a damn check, and then distracted you from the mission. They distracted you from the mission. First, you had the gangster rap coming in. We don't love these hoes, and I want to kill a Black man today. I feel good because I murdered 3 Negroes today. Right? That one guy in a verse, he said something like, "I shot 4 brothers." Like, why would you say in a song that you shot 4 brothers? Like, why is that a good thing? I don't understand. I thought killing Black people was bad. Is that maybe am I old fashioned here? I thought that we didn't want people killing Black people, but you just had a verse where you said I shot 4 brothers, and because it sounds good, I'm supposed to go along with that. And then here's the other thing too. The other thing about hip hop that's really interesting, I remember, go listen to this song. This is crazy. I'm not really putting this out there on Snoop, because I think Snoop has evolved and become a different man over time, and he's a smart guy and I like him. But there's a song, I kid you not, a song with Snoop and Exhibit. And if you know hip hop, you probably know this song. And remember the verses like, "Who wanna get involved with us? Break down, blah blah, dan da da da." And that was the chorus. And I don't remember the lyrics exactly, but I remember I could have sworn that there was a verse in this song where the man literally, where Exhibit and Snoop were rapping about raping somebody, raping a woman and recording it, and getting away with it, like literally getting like beating the case because they're so powerful. And again, I could be wrong. But I follow the hip hop. I'm a hip hop head. I know the culture. Right? I've been on the Breakfast Club a bunch of times. All that. I study the culture like you study, anything else, like you study mathematics. I pay attention. And let me tell you, if this was on any level how these guys were really living, Just wait till those lawyers get a hold of that information. Wait till the lawyers talk to the women that were involved. It's going to be over. You're going to see $100 million verdicts. You're going to see billion-dollar fortunes disappear like that. That's what you're seeing. Diddy's the first of many. This ain't over. You're going to watch every day. And then I'm not laughing. It's just, I'm laughing, but I'm not. I mean, I'm sad. I don't like it. It makes me sad. Like I'm the guy who 20 something years ago was looking at R. Kelly saying, this ain't going to end well for this dude. Like this dude. So he don't need another record deal. He needs therapy. He does not need more money. He needs somebody to shut his ass down. He doesn't need more people, more yes men around him. He needs some no men around him. You need people around you that are going to slow your roll and keep you humble. But unfortunately, we literally, the culture has gotten so bastardized in certain areas that we think that even being humble is a bad thing. I saw somebody do a whole post saying, why you want to be humble? It's stupid when people tell you to be humble. And I'm like, but you can be humble and still be confident. I'm very confident. I'm really confident. I really am. I don't pretend to be confident. I really am. I really am as confident as I pretend to, as I seem to be. As much as I tell you, like when I stand up and I say that's bullshit, I don't like it. But no, I really, because I love Boyce and I'm okay with who he is. But I try my best to be humble, and when I'm not humble, then that makes you vulnerable, right? And we all fall victim to that. But at the same time, I would encourage you, like humility will protect you. And I think R. Kelly could have used some humility, but instead I would see every year a new album coming out where every album he would push the limits of mass marketing various forms of borderline illegal sexual debauchery. That's what he did. That's what he did. Again, I'm not saying that the man deserved all the stuff that he did, because in fact, if you want to keep it 100, the people who made that documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, I'm not going to say no names because I don't want to get involved in all this stuff. But I know enough to know enough that even the people who made the documentary have their own demons and their own skeletons to hide. Right. So this was, I didn't fall for the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, not because I think R. Kelly is a choir boy, but because I don't like things that are painted in black and white. Right. I didn't like the motivation behind it. I didn't like the way it was kind of laid out. I think that there's a much broader conversation that should be had to understand exactly what was going on, because R. Kelly wasn't the only one. And there were people, male and female, who did some things that they should have to answer to as well. But we don't live in that world. We live in a simplified world. Bad guy, good guy, women good, men bad. And that becomes the end. But that's not the case. However, with R. Kelly, I think R. Kelly needed help. I think that R. Kelly could have been a wonderful force for good in the world, just like DMX. R. Kelly, they needed people like Farrakhan. That's who they needed. They needed to, if I could do, excuse me, if I could do things the way I really wanted to do them, I would go back in time, and I would, if I had infinite power or the trust of these guys, I would force them to go spend time with Louis Farrakhan. And I would force them to listen to the values of men and women in the Nation of Islam, because those values are the ones that are going to help you live. Those are the values that are going to help you grow. Those are the values that are going to help you be successful. Those are the values that are going to help you harness this amazing amount of power that you have and not use it to destroy yourself. You understand? So if I control a nuclear weapon and I don't position that thing in the right way, or I point that missile in the wrong direction, I'm going to kill myself. Do you understand? I'm going to kill myself. And the amount of power these guys have. And I'm gonna throw in Kanye West in this category, because I worry about Kanye. When I was on the phone with him, I said, man, I wish I could get him to listen to me a little more. He listened a lot. That's why we were on the phone for so long. And then I lost him. But I said, if you were smart, you would listen to me, because I think I understand exactly what a big chunk of your problem is. And I did say that, I said to Ye, I said, I never would have married a Kardashian, because I think that that's a destruction point for Black men. And I think that what you're going through is a reflection of everything that I would have predicted. I don't think that's a healthy family. I said, that's why I married a woman who's just like Donda. Your mother was a Black woman and a professor who lived on the South Side of Chicago. My wife is a Black woman and a professor from the south side of Chicago. She's actually from Gary, but she lived on the south side of Chicago. So there's similarities there in terms of picking the kind of woman that's going to hold you down versus picking the type of woman who's going to take you places that are going to get you hurt, that are going to put you in a bad situation, or dealing with the woman who's going to protect you versus the woman who's going to exploit you, and I just personally think that these guys get to the point. I think Diddy, maybe Kanye, I don't know, R. Kelly, DMX, they get to the point where it becomes all about pussy and drugs and money and fans, and next thing you know, you're sitting with white folks from from the Jewish community who are going to make money from you because they own the record label, and you're disconnected to all the things that keep you grounded. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're disconnected from the wisdom that comes from being around people that really love you and really want what's best for you. You're disconnected from the people that are going to help you, who are going to push you to modify your behavior so you can really show up as an asset to the Black community instead of a liability or a wasted asset, right? Some of these Negroes get so disconnected that they are worthless to the Black community. I was really happy that Umar Johnson made his point where he said that we've had all these we've had hip hop for 50 years. And we ain't seen a Black hospital. We ain't seen no Black-owned hotels. We ain't seen them build no school systems, right? It's just a bunch of big, shiny Negroes sitting on TV, and they're so disconnected that we don't even get to see them. Even Bill Cosby was disconnected from the Black community until he needed us again. He was pretty disconnected. Not completely, though. He did a lot of good stuff. He gave money to Spelman, and I saw him do some good things. But for the most part, I'm sitting there thinking, how is it? Pay attention now. Isn't it crazy? Pay attention now. This is strange. You have one of the wealthiest, most successful Black men in American history, and there are white women with a GED that can get more money out of him and get more attention from him than the Black community from which he came. There are broke ass, drug addicted snow bunnies who got more money out of Bill Cosby than Spelman University did. Does that not disturb you? Does that not make you a little bit concerned? Does that not make you say, what the hell is going on right now? Like, seriously, I mean, I don't understand it. I just don't get it, and so chickens come home to roost. Diddy's chickens are here. It's going to be a tough road for him. More lawsuits are coming. I can smell the lawyers' ink pens all writing down all the facts of the case. I can smell all the parade of women and men. I believe there's going to be some men. There's going to be a man this fight. There will be a man. I believe that I believe that there will be some man that will file a suit against Diddy because y'all know what it is. Seriously. And no disrespect. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, but seriously, it's going to be a mess for him. And his whole legacy is in jeopardy. His generational wealth is in jeopardy. He's going to have to fight like hell to defend himself. Because the other thing, too, that tends to happen that I've noticed is that once you're no longer the popular guy that everybody loves and they flip you into that space where you are public enemy number one and the greatest villain in America, it becomes a lot harder for you. Cosby went through it. R. Kelly went through it. I think that Diddy is officially the new Bill Cosby. And so this Daily Beast hit piece about him getting with Aaron Hall and raping women together, that's the beginning. Just watch. There's going to be an avalanche of suits and negative publicity. And I'm curious to see how he does business going forward. It's going to be a mess. All right. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's my 2 cents. That's my analysis. And I'm sticking to it. If I'm wrong, then so be it. It's okay. You feel free to leave the comments and let me know where I might want to think about something else. Also, if there's something else I should cover on this platform, you can just put it right there in the comments of the chat. Or you can even email my manager at boycewatkins.com. Feel free to send her something and she can forward it to me, manager at boycewatkins.com. And if you want to get my 2 cents on something, I'd be happy to do that. And also, I'm going to get back later on and we're going to do some financial stuff, pure financial stuff. This is financial, actually, very financial, but I'm also going to talk about the stock market and all that. We do that every day. So hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, my new book, it's a bestseller on Amazon. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy on Amazon or Audible, or if you want to get 75% off, you can go to drboycebooks.com. For 24 hours, you can get 75% off. Just use the code word Black Friday 2023. Black Friday 2023, all one word. And if you go to drboycebooks.com, you can get discounts on that and anything else that you see on the site. And last but not least, if you'd like for me to text you a list of AI stocks that I like, as well as our $5 a day investing plan, all this is for free. Just text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996. So be good to each other, love yourselves, and stay black, y'all. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your own. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.